Now, do you want to,
Okay.
yeah, can you explain the glitch to us? And I have a text message here from yesterday. You explained a bank in Texas has both of our money, and the processor in LA has to send a file to India. Can you explain what that means to us?
Okay. Um, what that means is we are a tax preparation place. We guarantee to electronically file and prepare your taxes. We're not responsible for computer errors or bank glitches or software glitches. That's first of all. And all of the customers in Norfolk and all of the nation signed the paperwork, but I didn't want to throw that around. The computer glitch at the present time, right now, from the sound of my voice, at the present time, the computer glitch is over with. That issue is over with. I was trying to get past that issue so I can make the real announcement that at the beginning of tax season, the Internal Revenue had two systems. They have a modernized e-file system and a legacy system. I've done a press conference in Memphis, Tennessee, so for the people that want to know the real truth, they can log on internet and Google Mo Money Taxes press conference or whatever, and all stations. I was trying to let the country know that with these two systems, no tax company can actually tell you when your refund is deposited. The only thing that any tax company in America can tell you is to go to Where's My Refund site. When you go to Where's My Refund site, even that site is up and down because it's being scheduled for maintenance through the Internal Revenue Service. What's happening is Internal Revenue is rebuilding their computers so everything will be modernized e-file. And the modernized e-file system, all returns after this year, for the most part, I'm making a good speculation, all returns out on the years to come will generate within 5 to 7 days. Our software is totally modernized e-file software, meaning when we prepare an income tax return, those returns, we get an accepted acknowledgement within seconds, talking straight to the Internal Revenue. So after we get that accepted acknowledgement, the Internal Revenue will in return send that return back through the software, and the software sends it to the processor. The thing about the bank is really invisible because the processor processes using a routing and account number of a bank. So when the Internal Revenue says your refund has been deposited inside of a bank, it's not my bank. It's not none of the guys up their bank. It is a bank routing and account number. The processor is up to you in California. To be honest with
your bank, how do you access the money?
It's not my bank. It's not my bank. I do not
access the money.
The processor processes. It's just like with a credit card. When you go inside of your local grocery store or any grocery store in the nation, a processor processes those funds. The processor sends the return back to the tax company and with an authorization to print. The prep fees goes to an account. The service bureau fees goes to an account. The processor dividends the money, and the whole record has to be totally accurate before the record can go out. Now, when I mentioned the guys over in India, our software is based in India. So we have developers in India that works for the software company as well as the processor. It's just like any software company in the nation. For the most part, you have a group of developers here, and they all communicate with people from India. That is where most of the software in the nation is built at. So when we know we have a snag, the processor sends that snag to the developers here, and the developers here, if they can't figure it out, it goes to India, and India sends back a fix. Now, as far as the processor having some issues, like I said previously, that issue is over with. The Internal Revenue has not deposited but 30% of the refunds, and that is all across the nation.
Now, sir, a lot of these customers have called the IRS. They've asked the IRS,
right,
is the money still with the IRS, or has it been deposited into the account Mo Money is going to use to pay, get your own fees and also to return the check? They've been told by
Okay.
the IRS that the money is
Okay.
with that account, in the Mo Money
Okay.
account.
Okay, it's two different kinds of tail. It's two different kinds of tail, and I want to make the customers of Norfolk and everyone understand that. One tail when you call the Internal Revenue and a representative says your refund has been deposited. If you go to Where's My Refund inside of the Internal Revenue system, a lot of people get that confused with my money has been deposited. If you read it precisely, it says that your money should be deposited by this date.
Right.
But
I'm talking about people
should.
whose money is already deposited into your account and they have not seen their
Okay.
refund check.
Okay. I don't know if that could be the case before now. Now, all of the refunds that was deposited previously to today are in Norfolk, Virginia. They are all out. They're all out.
What do you mean they are all out when you say they are all out?
They are printed. They are printed.
Then why aren't they in the hands of the customers?
I'm about to explain that now. The office managers and everyone felt like their life was in danger, so they went to an off-site location. They got their stuff together and made sure they printed all of the checks out of all the locations. So all the checks out of all the locations are printed. Tomorrow between 12 and 5, they will be giving those checks out at the Bramley, I think it's Bramley location. They will have armed security guards. They're going to post a sign up on every location in Norfolk, Virginia. They're going to post a sign up in every location in Norfolk, Virginia. I think it's 200 and something odd names that's on that list. The names of those people will be the only people allowed to enter into those doors. Now, for the people that
will those checks clear?
Yes, ma'am. Of course they will, ma'am.
Well, sir, with all due respect, I'm asking because I had one of your franchise owners release 50 checks at the Granberry Street location, and he told me personally that 30 did not clear. So I have reason to wonder if these checks will clear.
Okay, ma'am. Like, let me make you understand something. That this is not.
Why would you give someone a check that doesn't clear?
Let me make you understand something. I don't sign the checks. It's not my signature on the checks or anything like that. But you can trust and believe. No, the tax business doesn't work like that, ma'am. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. It does not work like that. The tax company cannot put refunds inside of their checking account. The signature on that check is probably from the processor. Now, as far as the checks clearing, the people of Norfolk need to understand that they do not need to grab their cell phone to call to verify that check. They need to go to the check casher place, let the check cashing place call to verify that check, because the check can only be verified one time. Because it becomes void, it becomes invalid if it's already verified. If you can only verify it once, because they can't duplicate it, they can't go to make another check up. That check number becomes invalid after it is certified. It's a certification number on there. Those funds are in there. That bank got deposited $6 million of funds for everyone that we were involved with. $6 million is sitting inside of there.
Then how come the check did not clear if the money was there?
The check is not a case of the checks did not clear.
Yes,
the only way you can
did not clear. Someone
went up to
cash the check, and the check did not cash. It did not work.
Okay. It could have been invalid for several reasons. It could have been invalid because the customer tried to validate it before they got to the check casher. That could be the case. Then again, it could be the case that those checks have to be updated inside of the system for validation, and it takes 30 minutes after that check is finished printed out before it is validated. Once the system catches up, you can call the number on the check for verification. Now, when you say, ma'am, it's funny that you say a check does not clear, because from my recollect, the only way you can know if a check doesn't clear is if you deposit it inside of your bank account and it comes back.
sir, I'm just using the terminology that the franchise owner said to me. He
Okay,
said the check did not work. It did not clear.
No. Okay, well, I want to make you understand that what the word clear means. The only way that a check clears is when it deposits inside of your bank and the check comes back bounced or not good. That has not happened.
So what
That
is
has
the word
not
when
happened.
you go to what is the word for it when you go to the check cashing place and they say this is not a check that you can cash?
Valid or invalid. Valid or invalid. If the customer or someone else grabs their cell phone and say, hey, let me make sure this check is okay, they call that number, they say, oh, yeah, it's okay. Then when they get to the check casher, when he called the number, of course, the check is not going to be good.
But what if they did not call and they went straight to the check casher and it was invalid, as you say? I mean, essentially, was it a fake check?
No, ma'am. There's no such thing as a fake check because no one is going to knock at my door, none of those guys' doors, and say that we fraudulating checks. Man, we've been around for 17 years and processed 50,000 income
And 2 states
taxes.
have taken public action against your company.
But ma'am, you need to understand what the public action is. What are you referring to as the public action?
In Arkansas.
Okay.
And
okay.
Also in North Carolina.
Myself and the Arkansas Attorney General are good friends. What happened in Arkansas has nothing to do with the validation of a check. What happened in Arkansas is a law was passed. A law was passed in December before a tax year, and the state of Arkansas did not notify no income tax offices of this law. And the law was simply that if the fee is going to be $300 plus service bureau fees and everything, we want you to charge every single customer this fee, and we don't want you to discount no customer. So in case, Miss WAVY, or your name, if you would have came to my office in the state of Arkansas and your refund was $200, and I say, I see you not getting anything back, and you don't have to go through my system, but hey, you still need to pay me $300 plus service bureau fees. So in other words, I can't give you a friendly discount whether you owe or not. That's what it was all about in the state of Arkansas. One thing about a law is my company does not break any laws. So therefore, we got hit with a fine. We paid the fine. Now that's over with. As far as North Carolina and the banking situation, North Carolina wanted a route schedule up. We've been operating for 17 years and had no idea and was not notified by the bank at that time about the rules and laws of North Carolina that you have to post a 7 by 8 route schedule up on every wall in those offices. But what happened in North Carolina was over with 3 years ago. So we paid the fine in North Carolina, and that was over with. But my company by far has not given out bad checks or withheld someone's refund inside of a checking account. That's preposterous.
Okay, and since you bring up fees, I do have a question. I had a check that someone received. I haven't followed up with it if it was valid or invalid or not. But the check she was told she was given, and I won't use the word receipt because it was a Post-it note. She was given a Post-it note by an employee at one of your franchises that had a number, and it was close to $2,000. It was $1,900 something that she was going to get back. When she got the check back, the number it started at was $1,000. I think you charged close to $700 in preparing fees, and at the end of the day, the check she received was $131.
Okay.
How do we go from almost $2,000 to $131?
That could be several things. About me not looking at it or investigating it for myself.
Is that getting back more money? $131.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That could be several things if you let me explain. Can I explain it?
Yes, please.
Okay. If a customer owes the Internal Revenue any money, if they have any debt with any type of organization, whether it be child support, the Department of Human Services, student loan, a previous IRS debt of anything, or if they have to file an 8862 because they are not allowed to carry dependents, anything going on between any of those agencies, the Internal Revenue deducts that money. We do not put the money on the check. We get an authorization from the processor on what to print, and that goes straight to to our computer.
So
We
who
don't
determines all of
put
the fees that you guys charge? I'm not talking about the
our,
IRS fees. I'm talking about
okay.
your fees that you charge to prepare.
Okay, the license, and we're not a franchise. I want to make that understood.
You are not,
that we're
but
not a franchise.
so what are these Norfolk stores? They're just stores of your company?
They are. We sell a license to use our brand name. We sell a license. They are those Norfolk stores are licensees. I just don't want to get any type of confusion with the state of Virginia about franchises. We are not a franchise.
That's fair.
So those stores are licensed offices. So our fees range between $200 and $350, maybe $400, depending on what is done to the tax return.
How much did you say? I'm sorry, you cut up, and I'm not trying to make you repeat. You cut off. How much are your fees range from?
Our fees can average anywhere between $300 to $400. Now, it depends on what we done to the tax return. And when I say words like average, that means that once you tally up our preparation fees, that's the company charge. Now, as far as the other fees, you have a bank fee. You have a transmission fee that belongs to the software company. You have a bank technology fee that belongs to the processor, and you also have a processing fee. Those fees have been around for the life of the income tax of income taxes. That is just how that goes.
How is charging? And a lot of these people, by the way, were told they're going to be charged $110, and when they received their check, it was probably closer to the range you just said. And I'm just wondering. They have no proof of that they even filed other than the IRS. They have no itemized receipt. They have no copy of their tax form to even see it was done correctly. What's your policy on documentation and receipts? How is it possible that someone only has a Post-it note or a piece of paper ripped off the corner of a piece of paper?
Well, with all due respect, it's hard for me to know exactly because what you are saying is what you have been told. Do you have any solid proof that they have not?
No, sir, but I have a large amount of people giving me the same thing. They brought everything they had to prove, because when you go to get your check, you want to prove that, this is mine and I was here. So they brought what they were given, what they left with. Some left with nothing. And they brought little pieces of paper, every one of them did. So I have reason to believe that is what they received, considering at different locations I've seen the same thing from all of the people.
Well, maybe some of those locations had some printer function issues at the beginning of tax season.
Right, but if you have a printer issue, is it okay to not know how someone filed your taxes or what you're going to be charged before you are charged?
I'm pretty sure they were verbally told, just like someone verbally told you what happened or whatever. A lot of times when things don't go certain people's ways, and I'm not throwing anybody up against the wall or anything, but when things don't go like you expect, we all as human beings sometimes get a little uptight and say, hey, that ain't what I tried, that ain't what I was told, or I didn't feel like that, or it didn't go my way, but what I would like to get out to the Norfolk people is that I deeply apologize for any inconvenience that has been caused. I would be glad to come in to Norfolk and do a press conference with yourself and anyone else about what's going on within the tax industry that's affecting all tax companies and what's affecting.
But sir, it isn't affecting. The IRS delay is one thing. This is a separate issue. And how come other tax preparation services don't have this issue?
Well, another thing that I like to make you guys know is because of the volume or the number of tax returns that we do and the way that we market inside of the community, we do any market that Mo Money Taxes for the history of the company goes into, we probably are going to do more taxes than anyone around there. So with our volume being so big or up there, we're going to make the most noise. We're going to make the most noise. So someone that prepared 20 taxes down the street that's experiencing the same problem, what's happening with them is they're saying, didn't you see on the news that the Internal Revenue has not made all of the deposits?
Yes, I have, but my issue is with not with those people. I understand the IRS delay. My issue is with the people who have called the IRS and have learned that their refund check, in fact, has been deposited.
Okay, if they are inside of that 200 checklist or more that they have, they will be able to pick their refund up as early as tomorrow at 12 o'clock from the Brambling location.
And as late as when?
They will be there between 12 and 5 on tomorrow.
Right, but not
now,
all the checks will be there.
all
There's
the
200
all of the deposits that was deposited inside of with that processor are there. That is it. Now, from there, we're waiting on the Internal Revenue to make a deposit. The Internal Revenue notified the processor that he processed $22 million, and those checks will be given out next Friday.
Which checks are those? Those are the ones that are late because of the IRS delay.
The IRS, the first major deposit for tax season for any tax company with the processors was probably going to be made on Monday or Tuesday. What happens after that? You have a 48-hour window before the effective date. When the effective date comes, then the processor is able to send down the files to the tax company for us to print. Now, inside of that $22 million is a ton of tax returns, because that is the largest, by far, deposit that the processor has gotten. The other deposits was $3 million, $6 million, $2 million, and $6 million. That was it, and that is for the whole company. Now, inside of this $22 million, I assure you, it's a large number, because the $22 million of files came through their legacy system. Those small numbers went through their MEF system, or their modernized e-file system. That is how it works.
Okay. And then I have a question.
Right.
I have a couple more questions. Back to the fees. What is the policy on telling people the fees, and are they supposed to have documentation of what's going to be taken out of their check, not from the IRS, but from you guys?
Some markets have their own policy, but for the most part, we give an explanation of the fees. Hey, your fees
Just a
are
verbal
such and
estimation?
such. Yeah, such and such for preparation, such and such for electronically filing. If you have this form on it, it's such and such. Hey, the bank fee is $20. The transmission fee is $18. The bank technology fee is $29.95. It's pretty much a verbal. In some markets, they have a price sheet in which the customer has to sign that we gave, but see, that is up to the market to explain that. But normally the fees are totally explained 100%, and it's a total understanding between the customer and the tax preparer of what the fees is.
And the other thing I think a lot of people don't understand is how did they give their consent to have their check deposited into an account Mo Money can access as opposed to their own account?
Wow, I am so glad that you brought that up. My company, Mo Money Taxes, all large franchises, I don't care who it is, are associated with a processor that has a routing and account number, because the customer does not pay anything up front. The processor processes my fees, H&R Block fees, any tax company, and I didn't want to mention H&R Block, but because I don't talk about other tax companies on interviews.
What is the name of your processor?
Our processor is Up to You in California.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but so I'm sorry. So how did they, were they told it and they verbally consented, or did they sign off on it, or like why did their check go to your account as opposed to theirs?
I do not. It is against the IRS regulation for us to put prepare fees inside of our personal or our business checking account. You cannot, by IRS regulation, deposit a person's refund check inside of your account. The IRS will shut you down in a second, and you will probably be facing federal prison time.
So you're saying it's in a bank account?
It is in the process. Yeah, it is in. It is at the processor's account. It's kind of like if you look on the back of your credit card, a lot of us, and you see a bank on there, it's another company on the back of your credit card. That is the processor.
Right.
That
so
is
how
the
do
processor.
you access? But the processor gives you everything that was put in there so that you can
Bingo.
take out
Bingo.
your fees, correct?
No, I don't take out my fees.
So how do you get paid?
the process when we send the file through the electronic filing system, the whole file goes to the Internal Revenue and it bounces from the Internal Revenue to the processor. So once it leaves us, it's gone. Once it leaves us, it's gone. So then we have to wait on all 3 to 5 other companies to touch it, and it has to get back to us. When it gets back to us, everything is already dividended up by lightning fast speed. When I start talking about India and the developer and stuff like that, our software company is able to sweep 5 to 10,000 tax returns through the developer in a matter of seconds. In a matter of seconds, these returns can go through. But if one file out of this 5 to 10,000 people has a error on it, what happens is the file gets sent back to the developer, and it has to be fixed in order to send back through there. And that's hard to explain, but that's exactly how it goes.
So say your preparation fee, for example, you get paid that by the processor?
Yes. We get paid. The processor sends whatever the tax company sent on the file. Let's just use $300 for example.
The processor is almost the one who takes it out of the check.
Bingo. There you go. There you go. He take it out of the check, and he does a bank route to the account that's linked to the return. That's how it goes.
Okay, and I have one last question for you, just because the name of your store gets so much attention. A lot of people say, how could you go there? Other people say, I only trust them. Can you talk to me about, explain why Mo Money? Why not more money?
That's something that my partner and myself, Derek Robinson, decided to name the company. We decided to name the company that 17 years ago. And to be honest with you, it had nothing to do with us getting people more money back. We liked it, the Damon Wayans movie, Mo Money, and we said we liked that name so much. It's a free will country. We decided that we wanted to name the company Mo Money Taxes, and we've been that for 17 years, and we're happy to be a successfully black-owned company around the nation and processing over 50,000 customers and been around for 17 years. We're very happy with our successes, and also any issues or situations that we had, we would take that as well. We know that goes with business, and we're not upset with anyone of Norfolk, Virginia. We want to apologize to anyone that had any bad situations or involvement with the tax company, and we're going to make it up to them.
And do you find that just because you said you're proud of being a black-owned business, and I've heard that actually from your customers, they wanted to support a local black-owned business.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you find that a large portion of the population who comes to you is African American?
I've never done a census on what color or race of people come to us or what have you. So I don't know how to make a comment on something of that nature or anything. But we by far do not target a certain demographic of people. When we advertise, whoever comes.
Right. Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking so much of your time to explain this to us.
And I enjoyed it, and I would like to talk to you again when I get in Norfolk. I can't put a date on the calendar, but I would like to talk to you again. But please let the people of Norfolk know that their refunds are going to be in between today and the large assumption of those refunds that just came down from the Internal Revenue. But the processor, when he starts to process it on Tuesday or Wednesday, he's asking he has to have 48 hours before the IRS will allow him to release those funds. Okay. So we're telling the customers Thursday or Friday, trust me, it's going to be a large number of happy people in Norfolk, Virginia.
So they could have their check Monday, but they can't actually go to cash it until Thursday?
No, ma'am.
Oh, no,
you're saying
the second batch will just probably be coming out by Thursday.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
yes, ma'am. And that is $22 million. Before then, we might get another $22 million, but we have to go by how the Internal Revenue is sending it. The system glitch is null and void now. That's over with. Okay. That is over with. It's not a system glitch anymore. Okay. That was the last $6 million that we sent out. That's over with. And Miss Gladys Johnson, I think that's her name. Mm-hmm. We're doing a special investigation on her because her file was not inside of this $6 million. So tomorrow I would be doing a special investigation. I spoke with Ms. Johnson. I'd be doing a special look at her file to see if it's some type of error or glitch with her file at the processor company. We're going to be looking into her and another customer in Norfolk, Virginia, because it might indeed be another 100 or so exception files that still have errors in them. But I'm very particular about this customer, so
Okay.
I want to make sure that we take care of her.
We're glad to hear that because we want to see her checking her hand as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for speaking with us. Take care.